40 chess. Yeah. 40 chess. 40 chess. Let's get it.
Yo, is that T-Dog?
40 chess. 40 chess. Hey. 40 chess. This a trade show. Patreon where the trades go. Tap in and watch. That's what you came for. Ain't gotta say my name. They know my name, bro.
What's good, man?
We got McNutted in ATM. Always start off the show with a trade from them. You should always make sure that your trade is in. Patreon, why not be a Patreon? Know you wish you could spend every day with them. Tap in and say what you gon' say with them. South Harmon can fill up a stadium. Next time you log in, make sure that you bring a friend. We about to kick off, let the day begin. Go follow the socials. 40 Chess FF is posted. If your trade is an F, you get roasted. Go like and subscribe for the crew. Apple, Spotify, and the YouTube. You know Cooper got the warp too. Let us give you a walkthrough. 40 Chess. This is 40 Chess.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. We're back. We scrounged up enough trades, right? Had to dig through it to find trades for this show, but we got them.
It was not easy.
One of my own.
It was not easy because let me just say the deal I was trying to make just to add to the show did not happen. Cuck's gonna cuck. Speaking of which, if you want your deals, featured on this show, patreon.com/South Harmon, $5 a month. Get you in the door, get you on the show. Come drop your trade on the show. So this time next week we'll have, a show that's certainly going to happen. Maybe not guaranteed, but let's get right into it with Iowa Michael. What do you think, buddy?
Let's go.
Speaking of which, we got two team members. We got Savage, South Harmon member crime, man. What do we know?
Team member on team member. Shit commander versus shit commander. Let's go.
We got the OG. This is a 12-team Superflex tiered PPR. Best ball start 12. League is best balls. One of the OG leagues as well. So, Mike, this trade goes down. It's Bryce Young is what you are receiving for a hodgepodge of Mac Jones, Greg Dulcich, and the 112. Walk us through it, buddy.
I'm big on buying into Bryce Young this offseason. Yeah. Really want to get some Bryce on my team. If you really think about it, at least for me personally with Bryce, Bryce or J.J. McCarthy with top 20-ish draft capital.
I think I'll take Bryce.
Take Bryce.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And, if we talk about McCarthy, that's probably what the 109, 110, 111 range. Right, so if I could do it, I'm a Mac Jones fan. So I can really give a shit about Greg Dulcich at this point.
Right,
like that's just
for sure.
Toss in. That's a best ball only tight end.
I mean, I know you're still higher on Mac, I think, than most people, probably even including myself.
Yeah,
I just think the range of outcomes for Mac are really bad if you look at the low end. At this point, range of outcomes low end for Mac could be basically it's a wrap.
He just finished up his third year, right?
Yeah.
And he could not start ever again,
right?
Other than spot duty, right?
Exactly. He could become basically a guy that I think he's good enough and shown enough to be a backup in this league for a while, right? He doesn't seem to be a problem kid either, so I think he'll play as a backup for a while, guaranteed. But chances to actually start, to your point, could be few and far between. Greg Dulcich, after having a promising rookie year, basically was someone that didn't play a lot this year, and another coaching change for him happened this year, and it just lent itself to this. Mike, I could see very easily, even in best ball, where you just sent a lot of crap that has a name cachet in some way, shape, or form in a 3-for-1, where it's really the 112 and a lot of hopium for Bryce Young. And at that point, I'm in on the Bryce Young side.
If you think about Bryce, too, as bad as his rookie year was for a lot of things, there were some very encouraging metrics. There's some very encouraging analytical plot graphs out there that he ranked pretty favorably in. Was the number one pick. We do know that they were devoid of weapons when Adam Thielen was your best choice. Jonathan Mingo underproduced from what we kind of expected from him. no real tight end to kind of speak of, and the running back room was, supposed to be Miles Sanders, ended up being Chuba Hubbard, and even then it's kind of like, meh. Offensive line wasn't that great. They are down a first-round pick, but free agency, cap space, second-round picks. Could they add stuff to this, and all of a sudden Bryce's sophomore year doesn't look as bad? Sure. But even if it's kind of the same, I think Bryce is one of those guys you can realistically project for at least 2 more years of starting, right? Like, Mac Jones got 3 years. Kenny Pickett looks like he's going to get 3 years. So even if you're absolutely dog shit horrible for multiple years, as far as certainty, as far as starting quarterback in a best ball league, Bryce has it. Mac does not. I got to add Dolchich. The 112 is a nice piece. You and I both really love this class and just how deep it is and how the second rounders even are going to be really good picks. But like for a starting quarterback in Superflex with a little bit of job security, reasonable job security, I thought this was a pretty fair price. So if this is what it cost me to go get Bryce Young, I'll probably end up with a lot of Bryce Young on my team. And I'm just going to roll the dice that he's better than what we saw last year.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to make the case for, if I was going to make the case for JCap's side, it's basically that you still have an outside prayer, really more so, of a quarterback situation with Mac Jones, where maybe if they don't end up taking a quarterback at that 3 spot, they bring in somebody in free agency that doesn't necessarily take the job from him. Maybe he ends up getting a chance to start for a year and gives you some type of quarterback production, not necessarily what Bryce can offer. Dolchich is, a talented guy you could throw in and hope to basically add to your room. And then the 112 becomes a receiver in a really talented receiver class where, let's say, if you had the quarterback depth, right? If you could basically afford to cash out on Bryce Young as far as not getting a quarterback back per se, even though you do get Mac here, like I think that would be the lens you do it, right? If you can say, I have 3 other quarterbacks, I don't need Bryce. I know I'm probably losing on where I drafted him, but I'm getting out and getting into a safer receiver that I feel better about or whatever. I can understand that. I think that's probably the only scenario I could really say makes sense. If you think you're going to draft, the 5th quarterback in this class and replace Bryce 1-for-1 in that type of a trade, it's probably not a good bet. But this would be more of a just spread them into 3 pieces. I don't really think I'm getting a great quarterback back, and I'm just trying to get skill players back, I think is the way you would be looking at this trade.
Speaking of the Patreon, I posted a buy-sells list in there about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Bryce was on it, just looking at keep trade cut ranks real quick, and they had him lower than a late first. Like that's where people were valuing him. So I'm a man of my word. I don't tell people to go out and buy certain players if I wouldn't do it myself. So I sent out probably 15, 16 offers for Bryce Young. This is the only one that got done.
I was gonna say this is the only one that got accepted still, right?
Right. The original offer was probably just the 112 for Bryce Young straight up. Like I stayed around that 110, 111, 112, and I just sent it out for Bryce Young anywhere that I had one. And this one
JCap was like,
back.
This is the extra. I need these 2 pieces. All right.
I need Mac and Greg Dolchich, and I just said, fine, here you go. You take them.
Okay.
Done.
Fine. Twisted my arm, damn it.
Got me.
All right. I think if you look at it from the other lens, I think that's where it could pan out, though, is if you get the skill player and you just kind of are willing to and are able to push out of the quarterback position. All right, let's get into a new one here, Mike. 7 GOAT rings. Second trade. He's back. I know Blitz had to love this, right? Every trade we had in the Patreon got pulled, so there's no picking or choosing which one you get. 7 GOAT rings is acquiring a 25 first, the 203 Josh Downs, and George Pickens, sending away the 304 Rashad Bateman and Tua Tagovailoa. This is a 12-team 2-quarterback, full PPR, lineup start 11, the League of Champions. Mike, what say you?
Ooh, 25 first. It's a wild card, right? At this point, could be anywhere.
I think this is probably where we pull up that tool and do some digging on. I think I would love to know, are we really betting against this Drewski? Is it a team that's worth betting against? Is really the question I should ask more so. Because
big one, right?
Because then I can understand it a lot more. When you talk about 12-team 2-quarterback, man, Tua's not just some guy,
He's not just a dude. He's not just a dude.
I can't even look at you right now.
He'd probably just be a dude. 10 team.
That would be fair. I would agree.
Let me pull it up here. Let's look
Okay.
up Drewski. We're going to use old Sleep here.
Love it, man. Sleep here. Let's go. Sometimes we got to do some detective work here, Mike, you know?
I think we're in line for a rebrand, though. It's going to happen.
It is. It is happening.
It is happening. But JCap keeps making this thing. Saw him on the previous trade. Makes it better and better. So glad to have him on here. But this tool is going to be pretty integral to what we use for team reviews, roster reviews.
Correct.
So good time to plug that at him while I pull this baby up. But we're looking at Drewski. I got him. All right. Let me find him.
Sure. DynastyTeamReview.com, by the way.
Yeah, go hit that up. Drewski's team. All right, so now he's rocking Tua. Kenny Pickett. Well, it's not starting great at him. Oh, boy.
It's worth it, isn't it?
It might be worth it.
Baby, I'm worth it.
Yeah. Tua, Kenny Pickett, James Conner, Tony Pollard, Adams, Keenan Allen, Rashee Rice, Gesicki, Charbonnet, Puka, Brian Robinson. Notable bench players is Brandon Cooks.
Okay. So it's not just worth it; it's very worth it. Now, here's the question that I want to ask you, Mike. Let's say that, let's do a little 2025, little 2025 preview for people. Yeah. All right, let's just project that it's early for the sake of the argument. I mean, what quarterbacks in 2025 are you taking ahead of Tua Tagovailoa, assuming this is this time next year? Let's just even play that game.
Ooh, that would take a lot of projection.
It would.
So right now it's hard to see, but you could definitely see whoever the QB1 or 2 of that class is if they're getting the buzz.
Right now we're looking at Quinn Ewers and Drew Allar are the two names that I think are honestly have even really much of a chance to be ahead of Tua if we were going to say.
You could have somebody like a Cam Ward because we know how dynamic he is with his legs now. Going back to school, going to Miami. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That could be nobody had Jaden Daniels projected this high coming into the season. We all thought he was ass.
Correct.
Everybody thought he was terrible. There's always a quarterback or two riser. I wouldn't say it's like right now we go, oh my God, it's such a deep class. Last year we went into it thinking it was Drake May, it was Caleb Williams, and that was it. But we were excited because they were generational type prospects. I know that word gets thrown around all the time, but they were very, very good.
But that's the thing about 24 and 25 that I think people need to understand at least. 25 doesn't have, those names right now we can mention, Drew Allar and Quinn Ewers, they have a lot of holes that you could poke in their game as far as, being generational, right? So let's even say that Cam Ward was to take that big step and become the, the athlete that we're hoping for, could maybe run with his legs. My only point is, Mike, there's a scenario, I think, where it's not really that much of an upgrade, if at all, and you waited a year for it. It's going in the same range as Tua, frankly, because this class does not have – it has upside because it is still young rookies. So if Drew Allar or I don't know. I don't see those guys pushing first-round draft capital, frankly, right now. To your point, it's a lot of projecting still, but I have a hard time believing that they're there.
What about Shedeur?
I love Shedeur, the player, but, Mike, I don't think he offers the legs that does, Cam Ward, or definitely he's definitely not a Jaden Daniels type runner at all.
Okay. Well, what about the wide receiver position? Because there's some pretty good wide receivers.
Now this would be where we have the discussion. And would those receivers pass Tua? So let's go ahead. Let's run down a few of them. Let's name them.
Well, I was just pulling up some mock drafts here.
Egbuka, I think, could end up being somebody that's very much now that he went back, right?
Right. He was in the conversation in the first round here. Luther Burden.
Burden's probably going to be the wide receiver one, in my opinion. He's been that dude for a while.
I would say, honestly, though, where he would rank, he'd probably still be he might be fighting for third if he was in this year's class. Might be. All right.
I think he very much could be, but yeah, if you give him another year under his belt, let's say he had 3 years of production like he's been playing, I think he'd very much be a wide receiver 3 in this class.
I mean, right now when you look at it, it's a pretty hard pretty hard defensive draft.
Yeah, and you got, Singleton, who at this point, like, I'm just not a, running back.
Judkins.
Right.
But it's running, like you said, it's a running back. Carson Beck at quarterback could be another riser. I really liked him.
Anyway, like when we go through this, Mike, the point of this was really to say, like, the 25 class isn't projecting to be anywhere near the 24 class. There's a lot of time that's going to happen. There's going to be some names that come in that we didn't know of, that we don't think as highly of. There's always that. But all in all, because here's my question, Mike. While you're doing that, I think the big thing that you have that Tua doesn't offer is maybe you can trade that 25 early first to a team that's trying to rebuild versus like Tua maybe doesn't offer that. Like, that's the main thing I'm trying to say is if I'm having this pick now, like, I kind of have an idea of if I'm going to wait on it for a year and not have Tua in a 2-quarterback league, like, what I'm trying to do. And I think the reality is I'm trying to move it for something crazy because it's a top 3 pick or whatever, right? When I heard the team, I understand the process, but I just wanted to go through saying, I don't know how rosy I feel about just waiting it for forever. At the same time, though, Mike, when you look at this and let's line up start 11, let's dig into the rest of the deal. I mean, Bateman versus Pickens and Downs is not even a discussion. Shoddy B is dead. He is completely
Bateman
dead.
in the 304 for Pickens and Downs is still a slam dunk for Pickens and Downs.
Yes, and then you also have the free 203, which we haven't discussed. So, like, I get it. I definitely get it for Goat Ring side. The only question I'm saying is that, to me, there's a big difference between Tua and that first, potentially, even if that first does lock early. If it's like a mid-first, Mike, I know betting against that team what you're doing, but I just in 12 teams 2-quarterback, Mike, I think Tua is the most valuable piece in the deal. That's kind of what I'm really trying to say. Overall, I'll take Goat Ring side, though.
Because I do get to look at the 7 Goat Rings team in here, right? So you're in this position. He's got Lamar at quarterback, like that one. A-Rich, rocking like A-Rich. And Bryce Young is his 3rd. So Tua was his 4th.
Yeah.
Right, or Bryce Young was his 4th, however you want to do it. But he did have 4 quarterbacks. Would you bet against somebody in 2025 to liquidate one of those quarterbacks that's not going to start for you?
Yeah,
in a lineup league.
I get it for sure. Bryce is your backup. You're basically saying Bryce is my bye week fill-in, pencil him in when I need somebody, but he's my quarterback 3 in case of disaster. A-Rich gets hurt again, or Lamar misses a couple weeks. So I get it. Like, you don't want to have a guy like Tua that you don't start weekly necessarily. So I understand what he's trying to do here.
This Goat Ring team is stupid.
I'd imagine.
So.
Yeah. So he's trying to get.
You see, Big Black Scooby owns that 304, right? And we've seen him on this trade show not very fondly.
Well, it's
no
weird
offense to that guy, but
that poor guy. I mean, I can't imagine he is the 104 after all the trades that he's been making.
Well, he probably earned it, but he doesn't have it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Mike, here's what I'll say. I like Goat Ring side. I understand the process of this deal, and I understand it from the quarterback landscape you gave me. I think what would make this deal a slam dunk versus just not like the hugest of needle movers to me is if you can actually now move that 25 first in a package to someone that's in a rebuilding scenario and get well past Tua on the value scale, right? If you could do that, I think the 40 move is going to kill it.
What if it was something where you could take that with now an A-Rich? And move up into Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I also think probably, though, like, there'd be a scenario where I'd maybe even want to keep A-Rich, but, like, can I move this 25 first and Pickens or even a receiver higher up to go get a stud receiver? Like, you make moves like that, and I think all of a sudden you could kill this deal. Same thing what you're talking about, though, right? If I'm using this 25 first as a piece that's really, really alluring with something I have on my team that's solid, but I can go into a God tier, that's where I think you can kill it on the 4D move. And that's where that doesn't happen with Tua. Like, that's one of those things where while we can talk about the players that you'll draft, Tua attached to certain things doesn't necessarily offer that. So, anyway, Goat Rings. Well done on the deal. I think that's your next move if you want to make this really, really splash, though. All right, Mike. I'm not good in Shane Joe. Let's go. Patron on patron crime here, buddy. 12 team Superflex PPR best ball start 14. League name. I like that. There's only one of them. League name.
This went down in one of our leagues, though. It's one of the shit leagues.
Okay. Oh, so, I see. That league name is not actually Blitz is saying he needs the league name.
It's either a Blitz mess up or that's a Shane Joe or I'm not good whoever posted
that. I guarantee what this is they didn't drop the league name, and this is Blitz saying we need the league name in there.
You put a placeholder there. I love it.
Christian, we might need you to edit this in there. Either way, Mike, what do we got here? This is a 12-team Superflex, best ball start 14. What side do you want here? The 104.
Shane Jones.
I'm saying the 101 or 103, 203 on Antonio Gibson, and you say it's easy, the Antonio Gibson side.
Yeah, I want the Shane Jones side. Don't say it like Antonio Gibson's the piece. Okay.
You know how we got to do it, man. Mike wants the Antonio Gibson side. Don't say that.
Don't you say that.
Hey, man, listen. If you put this clip from the trade show that with like an old thing from back in 2022, people will be going, "Oh, of course he wants the Gibby side." No, but so okay. So I think the big reason why we say this, it's a start 14 first of all, and we know you and I, Mike, from the 101 to the 103. Like I'm locking in one of the 3 quarterbacks guaranteed. If that was the route you wanted to go, you're locking in one of Jaden Daniels, one of Drake May, one of Caleb Williams. You also may have a chance at Marvin Harrison Jr. So when I look at it, Mike, if I can go from this year's 101 to the 103, like that tier, especially those first 3 picks, I'm already very interested if you're telling me there's a plus on top of it. Now I get pick number 15 as well, and Mike's favorite, Antonio Gibson. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I'll take the package.
Yeah, this was pretty easy for Shane Joe. He tanked his way all the way to the 101. I mean, beat out some real stud tankers like myself. And then just to capitalize on Zach like this, that's kind of why I posted that. So it was in a shit Savage. So it's a Savage on Savage member crime here, too.
Yeah, it is, man.
In a Savage league.
Mike, let me ask you, is there a scenario at all? Is there a scenario at all where the 101 could win? Because me and you are on the same page here.
There's a possibility, but here's some things that lend it to it. It's a best ball league. It's a deep best ball league. Deep. I mean,
we're starting 14. That's one of those. That's a long amount of starters in a best ball league, man.
203, Antonio Gibson are going to have some weeks making your lineup, right? So the 103 just has to hold serve, just kind of be in the ballpark of what the 101 gave you.
Right.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And right now, before even the draft here, like there's a lot of people who are like, oh man, even us, we're talking about like, could Jaden Daniels be the 101? Like for fantasy purposes, could he be a little bit better than Caleb? If you're already set at quarterback, do you even go quarterback? Do you go wide receiver and take Marv? So there's a lot of perks to having the 102 or 103. And if you're going to add me an early second and just a flyer piece in a best ball league, if this was lineup, do I still want to acquire some Gibson? Yeah, but like it's not as sexy. In best ball, I'm like, well, if he dies, he dies, right? Like Ivan Drago, I don't care, but if he does something, give me a week, baby. Give me 2 weeks. Give me a little stretch run where you're like the lead dog for, a few weeks. That's all I need. So I'll take the 3 pieces and I stay within the same tier of like really good. This is easy for me. Great process trade by Shane here.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, let me just say Antonio Gibson to me in this deal he's a flyer, right? Like I view it as, okay, I'm taking him now. I'm hoping that there's something happening with the landing spot and like, okay, maybe I'm a little more intrigued with Gibson. He's obviously going to be way down the list as far as like what I'm really paying attention to, but I'll take him. I'll take the shot on a guy that's that athletic and that big. I mean, why not? So it really comes down, though, when I look at the trade to the 103 and the 203. And just knowing that I get a top 15 pick, there's so many good players in this class. I feel like I'm getting, at a minimum, whatever you wanted, your pick of a quarterback or a receiver that's very good still at 103. And I'm also getting the free piece now at pick 15, which like very likely is going to be a wide receiver prospect that I really like. So I would say I like that side better. I also think the other part of the trade that we haven't talked about is kind of flipping where, shoot, man, what if now that 203, as the hype really starts to roll around, I can trade that piece for a very good secured receiver player or an actual veteran. So now I'm getting Jaden Daniels or I'm getting Drake May and I'm getting, let's say, I don't know, Terry McLaurin type at the right time, right? Like you net that for free in this trade back. I think I can really get behind the different ways that you can now move the 103 and the 203. I don't want to act like if you really, really believe in Caleb or you believe in Marv that this is like a horrible trade. It's just one of those things that in best ball, I don't like to make a lot of these 3-for-1s, even though Gibson's one of the pieces. It's just more often than not, these are going to hurt you, I guess is the best way I'd say that, when you kind of tear up in this way.
Zach's a pretty big Bears fan, so I think he even said in the chat he kind of really wants Caleb, so I understand that part. He's going to set himself up with a dynamic quarterback room in this best ball, right? A-Rich, Mahomes, and Caleb.
Yep.
Let's just pencil that one in for him. But the problem is, like, the rest of your team is kind of meh, right? And it's a deep best ball, so you're going to need all the shots that you can. Now you got to make another move, right? Like, you got to tear down off of A-Rich or Pat or Caleb, right? Well, it won't be Caleb because everybody saw that you teared up to go get him.
Right.
Like, I'll give you less than what you gave for him. But it's just kind of the way it goes. And a good example, Adam, you're in that league, just the way it works out. I pick 4, you pick 6. If we were to do something similar, like if I were to send you like, hey, Adam, I'll give you the 4, but I need your 106 and your 206, and I need a Antonio Gibson level toss-in piece, I think even you would go like, I like the 104, but I also like the 106, so fuck off, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, I think you could argue that there's probably a tier break at the 104, between the 104 and the 106, but I still wouldn't do that trade. I'm with you.
Right.
That's where they'll like
keeping it 100.
Yeah, if you're saying you're going to get your guy, you think the Bears are going to take Caleb, which all signs point to that. I get it. I think there's times it's okay to go get your guy, Mike, as long as you're doing it infrequently, I would say, right? Like, you got to be careful about how often you're making trades like this.
Yeah, deep best ball league's probably not the place to do it.
Yep. All right, Mike. Dynasty Virgins, buddy.
Another one.
12-team Superflex PPR lineup, start 9. I've seen Pasta make plenty of these trades, so I know that it's capped for him to be in this league for the record. This seems like he's fishing, buddy, Speaking of which, let's see what we got here. All right, we got the 101 being acquired for Dak Prescott, Deontay Foreman, DeAndre Swift, and Cortland Sutton. This is a lineup, start 9, 12-team Superflex full PPR. Okay, Mike. Really, like, when you look at it, you're looking at the 101 for Dak primarily. Foreman's in lineup start 9 at least, he's a guy that you put in the back and you say, if he's a starter for me 1 week, he's a starter, right? But any running back on a 53, really. DeAndre Swift is probably that with a little more juice. And Sutton in a lineup start 9, I don't mind having him, but I'm not anticipating starting him much. So it's kind of a lot of extra fluff over there with Dak. But what side do you want here? Is this too much for you to go ahead and get 101?
Nope.
Agreed.
I'll easily take 101 here.
Yes. Agreed.
Start 9, format dependent. Right, Adam? If this was a best ball league, we'd be having a lot of the same conversations, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Man, that's a lot of pieces.
Yep.
A lot of pieces. Like, I would be comfortable in a best ball league going back to Dak and then picking up Swift, Sutton, Foreman, and just doing the 4-for-1.
Yeah.
I know it's the 101, but I would be comfortable. Start 9 lineup league. You need hammers. You need studs. Fuck these guys. I'll help you pack your shit. Get off my team.
Right now, you can say there's a scenario where Dak still remains a stud. Maybe. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Swift, we don't know. Sutton, honestly, as good as he's been, like in a little bit of resurgence this last year, wasn't a stud. And Foreman definitely ain't no stud. Yeah. and Foreman definitely ain't no stud. Yeah, and I'm talking format dependent, to your point. Yes, this is in a lineup start 9. No, man. All that extra stuff, that's where, see what I'm saying with the cap of him being he's doing this type of a trade to a Dynasty Virgin. That ain't right, Pasta. You're out here capping, man. That ain't right.
We need Pasta in more like patron leagues. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, let's get him into some of these. Like, we need to take Pasta to Little Italy. Get him in the real people making pasta. See if this at-home pasta really can handle it with the good stuff, you know?
I can't keep playing gangster in Midwest.
You know, it's like Mike, if you went on like Madden on Rookie, you play the computer versus Rookie. Oh, you feel really great because you're beating them 70-0. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Those guys are like running away from your guys when they go to make a tackle. 12-team Superflex, 2 tight end, full PPR, X.X tight end premium. Best ball start 11, shit auction 5. By the way, this is a fill-in for Blitz. By the way, that X.X tight end premium didn't have it, so I like making notes of that.
That's how many X's we got. Lots of them.
Get X'd. All right. Aaron Rodgers, Jaylen Waddle, and 2 fourths, Mike. Couple of fourths. Or your 112. Wow. Slemmo, you really going to put this on the trade show? Just let Mike flex like that?
Let's go.
2024 112. Michael Mayer, Greg Dulcich, Miles Sanders. All right, Mike. Which side of the deal do you want here?
I can give you the tight end premium, too. We can pull that up.
I know we can, but
See what it is.
I like giving Blitz this shit. It makes it more fun.
1 point.
It's a full point?
Technically, yeah, but technically it's only receivers get a 0.25 bonus as well. So it's 0.75.
So it's a 1.75 premium. All right. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so with best ball start 11, Mike, which side do you want here?
I want slim nose side here.
No shocker. Mike already traded away his first. Do you think he wants it now?
Nah, we're good.
Nah, this is pretty easy, dude. First of all, right now, would you take the 111 or the 112 or Waddle?
Waddle, easily.
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking Rodgers over, I think, any one of those other pieces, honestly. Maybe you could argue for Mayer, but I think I'm still taking Rodgers. And then, like, if you want to argue Dulcich or Sanders is worth more than a fourth, I'm not even going to argue with you, but I just don't care at that point, right? Like, I'll take the fourth. I'll take the fourth personally, but I'm saying it's not worth my time to argue with you. They're all kind of irrelevant, but if you made me say it, I'm going to pick a fourth over both of those guys. So
I'm taking the lawn dart of finding Puka Nacua.
I want this year's Tucker Kraft, man. Y'all have the old version and Greg Dulcich, you know? I think this is a smash, brother. Shane Joe, listen, Shane, you're my guy, man.
One great one, one terrible one.
You're my guy, man. Like, come hit up the DMs if you need it, okay? That's what I'm here for. Slemmo, I think Slemmo got a nice little trade done here, buddy. Really do.
And Slemno's hard as fuck, at least for me to deal with. Right?
Yeah,
so
he is
Shane,
too.
by any stretch of the imagination, I'll fuck him over any day of the week.
I'm gonna tell you, Slemmo, when he comes in my DMs, it's like, bro, don't give me these trades where you're gonna ask me if I should take this when you know damn well you should take it. All right, you know damn well what you're supposed to do, Slemmo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Deeks Sucks League. 12-team Superflex PPR, half tight end premium, lineup start 10, Mike. Devon Achane or Jordan Addison? Let's just start there.
Addison.
This is the type of
truther.
I know. Well, this is why
Master Achane, who comments on our videos, is going to be pissed. But I'm an Achane truther.
I know. Actually, Master Achane. The funny part is he anything he types in there, it's always like with Achane. I saw he put something with Koopa's the goat and Achane also or something like that.
And Achane also.
So he probably will be pissed. But like when I want to start with, like, when you see a trade like this, a 2-for-1, like Joe Fest killed this because I already actually have Addison. If I was to do like cross positional rankings, I would put Addison in a different tier than I do Achane. And so now when you add that and now I get the 210 on top of it, like my format like is irrelevant here because of the way that this trade is done. I want Addison. The only way you could tell me the format matters is if this is a heavy points per carry and we're damn near at a standard type level of, you know, reception points. Like it's a 0.25 PPR and it's a 0.25 points per carry or something like that, maybe. Like outside of something weird like that, this is already Addison over Achane, and then the 210's the extra piece. So
I would say, let's just venture to say, what's Keep Trade Cut have? They got higher.
You know, I bet you it's probably close. They're probably very high on a guy like Achane this time of year.
Addison, I got him at 41 overall. I got Achane at 43.
What was it? 41 versus 43. I said it's very close. That's a man.
You're running pure here these last few weeks, buddy.
You know,
if we could just translate that into some
some actual wins, right? Listen, it's okay. I'm a coach, man. I'm an old retired coach. I know I for some reason I can't play anymore, but that's pretty good. I'm actually surprised. But okay,
you are
so
running hot, my friend.
Here's the question that I ask you though, and they also tier them, right? Actually, this whole tier is from player 29 Jonathan Taylor down to 50s, all the same tier. So, because what I was going to ask you is if I flip this 210 to Achane, are you taking it?
No.
So for you, the tiers are incorrect on Keep Trade Cup. Mine too, for the record. But
tiers are incorrect. No, I don't think that'd be enough. You made that more mid, 205, 206.
You be in?
There's a scenario, a team build, right? Or I could go, yeah, all right, let's go. Let's ride it. But Addison, no. I want him.
By the way, for the record, Addison is wide receiver 14 on Keep Trade Cup, and Achane's running back 6.
Good.
So, just
backs, bro, we hate them.
What is this saying, really? Like, what this is saying, and what my takeaway, and what I think you should take away, where Joe Fest absolutely destroyed this. If I in a lineup start 10 league, Mike, am getting a top 20 receiver that's young, like that is honestly to me better than draft picks a lot of times, depending on how high up they go, right? A top 20 young receiver that people are all gung-ho about, dude, there's not a team in the world that I can't flip him to. It is if you're going to argue something being the most liquid currency ahead of a draft pick, it's going to be that. A young receiver that just, I mean, it's like taking Viagra, buddy. It gets everybody rock hard, you know? Like if you get, that's Jordan Addison.
Blue Chew.
Anyway, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm with you. I'd probably need Mike like a 203 to 206 type pick to be like,
that's fair.
Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll go to the Achane side.
Yep, that's fair.
All right, Dr. B. Oh no, what do we have? Make best ball great again. All right, that part I can get behind. 12-team Superflex PPR. We got a half-point tight end premium. Best ball start 11. Speaking of which, you guys should be getting in some best ball leagues. Mike, you want the stats on best ball leagues from last year? We're double. We're up double. We're up to about 20,000 people now total in Sleeper playing Dynasty best ball leagues. So
let's roll, baby.
Let's roll. Get your ass in a best ball league. At least try it out. Now,
Sleeper, just add college fantasy too.
Yeah, well, baby steps, right? We're gonna get there slowly but surely, you know. All right, let's talk about this. So the startup pick of the 109, you see Justin Tucker. That's just a placeholder. So we get the rookie 101. We get a startup 504 and a startup 704, Mike. Or do you want the 212, the 401, and a 25 first? Go.
So he moved up a full round.
Yeah, so he goes up from 212 to 109. So we're talking he moves up, 15 spots. Then he moves up over another full round again. Back. So he goes from the 401 to the 504. And then 1 for 1, he's trading his first for that 7th round pick.
Yeah. Ooh, it's tough. It's tougher. He did buy a pick completely outright, though, for a first, which I don't mind because it is best ball.
Correct.
You do this in lineup, probably a bad decision. You do this in best ball, and he's kind of starting off with the youthful build with the 101. Don't hate it. I don't think it's a move I would make, personally. Like that 7th just isn't enough to, blue chew me. I don't really care about the 401 to the 504, Adam. A lot of those guys are going to be like same tier, pick your flavor, kind of how you want to build your team. So reality, like the 212, you're probably looking at what, like the rookie 104?
Well, that was what I was going to say. I pulled
to the 101.
If you saw me just looking at my phone there, believe it or not, I was pulling up in the Discord to see. So we don't have on the other end for Lando. The picks were not, when this trade goes through, we don't have who was drafted. So I think this is where I'm going to plug in. Go to southharmonff.com/ADP. You get live time ADP to get an idea of what you can get. So when I see this with startup picks, Mike, 212, as we currently sit, that's Kyler Murray, right? So if I can get in that range and you just see who's there, we're talking about pick 3, Kyler Murray, Sam Laporta, Garrett Wilson. What did we just talk about with the 101 and the 103, right? Like, it's not that crazy difference. I'll take the 101, but where are you at on that one specifically? Like, how much do you need to pay back now? Because the 401 is Kyron Williams with the 105, Brandon Ayuk, whereas the 504, we're talking Drake London, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins.
Oh, man. So I'm going to, on one side, literally you could walk away with the 104, the 105, and a future 25 first, betting against some other team out of a startup.
Correct.
And it costs you your first, your fifth, and your seventh.
Correct.
Right. And you still got another second and a third and your own fourth to even Sorry, Dr. B, man. I want the other side. All right, that's the way I would go. Yeah,
do you? Okay.
I do.
I think for me, Mike, what really comes down to it, and this is where ADP and what you actually end up landing. So, Mike, if you told me right now that like ADP is correct here, and at the 704 I can actually get the 109, I might be okay with it there.
101, 109, and
if I get the 101, the 109, and let's say at the 504 I grab Rashee Rice, I'm cool. I'm good with this.
Okay.
Now, the problem with that is, though, conversely, Mike, like if I get in the 7th round range, I don't get 109. Let's say we have some of these leagues where the picks don't go according to these placeholders. I'm looking at drafting either the 201, 202, David Njoku, Mike Evans. Much as I like him, George Pickens, I don't want this. And I don't know how else to explain it. Like, there's a big difference for me between the 109 and most of those players I just mentioned. So, that's the problem for me, frankly.
So here's my problem, right? You're already leveraging a first. You're leveraging your first in.
Your flexibility is gone. You're already like committed to going for it, right?
Here's the thing, man. Sometimes these deals, and I'll point to one. Adam, you were in this one. We talked about it on this trade show. Matter of fact, I traded with Koopa, essentially $125 in an auction startup. Like, that's what I got from him. And I sent him my future first. Okay. With that $125 in the auction, I got Bijan, and we're like, oh, that was a home run slam dunk, Mike. You knocked that out of the park, right? Koopa way undersold it. You know what that pick is? It's 103. If I told you right now, Adam, you got to throw Bijan in this class, 103 or Bijan Robinson. Who you taking? And this is right now before the rookie hype really goes nuts. It's bad, ain't it? It's bad. Like, leveraging your future right out the gate, unless it's a home run slam dunk game for me. I'm mute, Finn.
I say that I can understand it, by the way, right? So
I got you.
I could take the 109 over the 25 first, because especially when I start projecting what the 25 class has and going for it. But just understand that, like, if you fuck up, I get to fire your ass. I mean, you're talking Catalina wine mixer times a million. If you end up giving away a top 2 or 3 pick, like if you go the wrong way with this, if this kind of the other thing with best ball that's unforgiving out of a startup is you have no idea how injuries are going to play out. You have no idea necessarily what looks like a great pick right now, January 30th, when we're recording this. You're watching this early February versus who's playing well in September, man. Not to mention October, November. God damn it, Mike. I didn't want to say the other side.
Just being honest, man.
I think
the team that finished 103, it had Lamar and Justin Herbert and Bijan and Russ coming out of the fucking auction startup. It's still third worst team in the fucking league.
I think that there's a scenario where I could go after that Dr. B. Harris side, but more often than not, man, the way I do startups, the way I play the game, I'm looking for that other side, frankly.
I think it's close. It's just when we get close, personal preference for me goes, I'd rather keep my first.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Where the way I play, I'd rather have the extra verse and have that flexibility.
Yep, I'm with you.
I've lost enough leagues to let you know that I don't want to keep betting on my teams.
Yeah, I've got. Hey, I'm not saying it can't work either, but I've just been kicked in the balls enough times to go. No, I'm good. All right, I ain't standing behind that horse. I know what happens.
All right, quote that movie: "The fleshy nut patch where your balls used to be."
Don't know, man.
Flicking
Lost me.
It's fucking good shit, buddy. So I don't know. It's 40-year-old virgin, by the way.
That's one I don't watch a whole lot. It's not in the rotation.
We gotta get you back in that mix, man.
Sorry, man.
It's like an accepted movie, right? Like some people are like, I don't really know that one, or I don't like it. Go watch it and tell me you don't like it. All right?
It's fair. It's fair.
Anyway, Dr. B, all right, we're flicking you in the fleshy nut patch where your balls used to be. There it is. All right. What do you think, Mike?
Ooh, that's how we're gonna end it. Fleshy patch. I'm sorry, Dr. B. I had no part in that.
He had every part
I
in
tried to
it.
let you down easy. Hey, at least this trade show, you didn't flip me on one. Like I already announced a winner, like poor Redwoods. And then we just get Adam comes in like, wait a minute, Mike.
Wait a minute. Yeah, he flipped me. I will say though, Dr. B, this doesn't mean I'm not rooting for you. It's just I gotta be honest with you. We need to have a talk, all right?
Yeah.
In the principal's office. Let's go. Mike, that was it. 7 trades, man. 7 trades for the Dynasty Trade Show this week. What'd you think?
Bing, bang, boom. Good ones. Good discussion too. Unfortunately, some of our patrons. Listen, we're here, right? We're a helpline. There's people to talk you off the ledge, right? Even if it's patron on patron crime, it'll be okay. DMs, let's go. It'll be okay. We got you. No, these were good. Interesting discussion, especially we're in startup season, right? A lot of trades going down in startups, rookie season, rookie picks, jostling back and forth. This is the time I really like. A lot of these too, man. We do these trade shows during the season, and they're fun to talk about team direction and like, are they rebuilding, are they contending? But it's kind of one of those things, man. We'll talk up a trade about how great it was, and then it's here today, gone tomorrow because that guy like suffers an injury or something. We're like, oh fuck, whoops, our bad.
Yep. Sorry,
but this is a lot more process oriented, which I like. That's probably my favorite thing about Dynasty.
Big time. I actually thought there was a few that were pretty like one-sided. Joe Fest with that Addison trade.
Yeah.
There was a couple that it's like, all right, this isn't that close. But Mike, I mean, even Dr. B's last trade there, it's actually a pretty well constructed trade, frankly. I like to be the person that has the upside, but the upside could also be Dr. B Harris. His team is actually very good and goes on to title, and that 25 is 112. And maybe next time this year we're talking about Dr. B Harris is at the 25-112, and his team is won a title, and that's the way he flexes. It's unlikely, but it could happen.
Could be. And
Anyway.
maybe I'm just I'm butthurt too, right? No, I'm gonna apologize to Dr. B. Maybe that creeped into, because I literally did a damn podcast a couple weeks ago telling people to go out and sell T.J. Hawkinson, and I see a question in Savage like, Dr. B, what are your thoughts on Hawkinson? What's his recovery? And he says the same fucking thing I said 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm not even a doctor. Not to discredit him, but like the audacity of you people to ask him.
Mike,
I just put my time, my effort in to deliver great content to you. This is how you repay me? You think you could do this to me?
this is a house of learned
basketball in Pelican Bay.
This is a house of learned doctors. And on that note, we will see you back here, same time, same place, next week to discuss all the injuries. We're out of this thing. Base.